This is Wake Up to Wealth, a podcast dedicated to helping you change the way you think about wealth. And now, here's your host, Brandon Brittingham.
Welcome to Champ Talk with Brandon Hudson. I am your host, Brandon Hudson, and we are back with another episode. Real quick, guys, if you get value out of this episode, you like it, you know somebody that would, please like, comment, share, send it to them. Give us a rating or some sort of review so that we have an opportunity to kind of get in front of more people and let everybody see this, because that's how we kind of get our visibility and get seen. This episode of Champ Talk with Brandon Hudson is brought to you by the Maryland and Delaware group of eXp Realty. Listen, if you guys are looking to get into real estate, looking to join eXp, join our team, doesn't matter if you're here locally or wherever, message me. Let's have a conversation. Love to kind of show you what we do and how we do it very well. And that's a beautiful segue into my guest that I have the honor to bring on is Mr. Maryland Delaware Group himself, Brandon Brittingham. How you doing, brother?
Good, brother. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate you inviting me on today.
Absolutely. So real quick, I'm going to give, not most people listening don't know, but I'm going to give you a little, quick introduction. Brandon has been in real estate for a little bit over 20 years. He's won all of the awards, been the who is who, if you know him, if you look him up. Got a top 5, sometimes number 1, sometimes number 3 podcast, Wake Up to Wealth on Spotify. Coaches, Apple.
It's on Spotify too, but Apple's the big play.
Okay, Apple, excuse me. All over the place, man. If you've seen the social media, you see my social media, we've been working together for almost 5 years now. That spawned from the last time I had him on Champ Talk, which was a totally different version of the both of us. And just the immense amount of growth and it's kind of one of them situations where you're paying your dues, and all of a sudden that spigot just turns on and just lights up. And I think in the past 5 years, at least from my perspective, that's what I've really seen with where your growth is, with the impact you've had on the country, the real estate industry, and so forth. So, without getting into all that, you can look up all that, but that's kind of the introductory of who he is. What I wanted to get you on here today is talk about some of the stuff that really pushed you to do some of those things and go so hard. From the outside perspective, they might see the videos, they might see the Lambo, they might see some of the jewels and all that stuff and think that real estate's easy or think that investing's easy and stuff like that.
Being an entrepreneur is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to go way back, right? Way back from when you first started. When you first started real estate, it was roughly around the 2008 crash in that time frame, and we didn't have social media, we didn't have any kind of digital marketing or anything like that. We had a phone book and a room. What was it in those early days that pushed you to kind of make the choice into saying something's got to change in real estate?
So I think a couple things. I think a lot of people don't know this. I was initially in the fashion industry, and I started my first business when I was about 18 years old. I worked for these guys that own stuff all over the country. I worked for them in their stores in New York, and then I worked for them in stores in Philly. And all the stores that I ran were the most profitable because they were, Urban Gear, Jordans, things like that. And, I was at the age of, I knew kind of what was trendy in the streets and what, all the kids were wearing and what was popular. And then
those big baggy white tees.
Yeah. God's sakes. I look at pictures of myself back then. I'm like, what the hell? I look like I'm wearing a dress. And so I went on vacation to Miami, and I was like, man, there's money down here, but they don't have access. This is before the internet,
sure.
Marketing, Amazon. I don't even know if, somebody could fact check me on this. I don't know if Amazon existed in 2008. Maybe it did.
He was probably in that garage.
Yeah,
that you see the picture
they were
of.
selling books. The online online retail wasn't huge then, right? It was still very, very much brick and mortar. So,
a lot of boutiques. A lot of
So I convinced these guys that I was partners with. We opened a store in Miami, and then we opened a store in the Keys. So we catered to a younger demographic, and then outside of the dope boys, right? My biggest buyers were rich kids, and sometimes their dad or mom would come in, and the wealthiest people that I met in my stores were all in real estate. And so then I proceeded to opened up a men's suit store. And again, back then, this is the competitive advantage of prior to the internet. I had some good connections where I had connections in Italy. You could come in, get tailored up. We'd send your stuff to Italy, get you a really, really cool suit that you couldn't get anywhere. Now you can freaking do the shit with your phone, get tailored, and they send it right to your doorstep. But back then you couldn't. And so then, I'd have guys come in, drop $2, $3, $4,000. And I mean, dude, this is 20 plus years ago. I mean, $4,000 for a suit back then was unheard of, right? And I mean, you really had to be wealthy. And so.
And you were doing this in Florida.
Yeah. Yep. And then we expanded. We had stuff all over the country, Vegas, New York. And then, to kind of round that out, that started to get me very intrigued into real estate. And then I saw the changes that were coming in the digital landscape. And so I sold all my stores because I was like, if I'm Nike or if I'm Jordan and I put my stuff online and I could sell direct to the consumer, why do we need brick and mortar anymore? Right? Or why would I not just open my own brick and mortar? So I kind of saw the writing on the wall. And then I was like, there's so many people, I was young and I was making really good money. And I was like, there's so many people that are so far ahead on the internet thing. Rather than try to figure that out, I sold all my stuff and I said, I'm going to get into real estate. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, but my intention was only to get into real estate to be an investor. Had nothing to do with ever being an agent. Now I came from, I knew a bunch of my customers. I had a bunch of celebrity customers. So back then too, you couldn't go in Versace or Gucci and you were 6'8" defensive lineman and buy anything. Right. So, shout out Dapper Dan, was close with Dapper Dan. He used to custom make,
the Dapper Dan.
Yeah. Harlem Dapper Dan.
Yep.
Look him up. Used to get really cool stuff from him, get stuff custom made. And then, I had agreements with some of the big houses where I could get stuff custom made. So I had a lot of celebrity clients. So the point I'm making is I came from this very intimate, someone comes in and gets tailored for a suit, you kind of get to know them, you get to know what they want, that kind of thing. You got to, if I'm selling you a $4,000 tailored suit, there has to be a high level of customer service, right?
And relationship.
Yeah.
And familiarity.
And so, I sold my stores. I took the money and I started buying investment real estate. And, man, not to paint everybody in real estate with the same brush, but you've seen it and we talk about it all the time. The first couple transactions I had, I was like, if this is considered good, then I need to be doing this. Because the people that I dealt with in my first couple transactions, it was terrible.
And this is on just the investment side, correct?
Yeah, I was just trying to buy a couple of properties, and it was just like, man, this is horrible. It was a terrible interaction. And so then I got my license, and I came from, even though the internet was not big then, we were just learning about it from a sales and marketing standpoint. But I had sales and marketing pretty dialed in because that's why my stores were so successful. And I was like, dude, they don't market, they don't sell, they don't work. And again, not everybody's the same. I'm just saying this was my experience coming into real estate and the office that I worked in. And so then that's when I was like, man, I could really do some damage even as an agent, even though I had not gotten in it to be an agent, because I was just like, the playing field is archaic.
And so we can paint a better picture. The timing of this was, not what real estate is today. This was here's a phone book, good luck, kid.
No training. No training, no support. Yeah.
So like you get your license, you're sold on this idea that real estate is the way, the way to wealth.
Yeah.
You're probably, if I'm not mistaken, because this is what I've seen and on the recruiting side is, you're sold all these promises and all these, we can do this and we can do that. And then,
bullshit.
And then when you got into the office that you were at, what the landscape, and, I know, but for our listeners, what was the landscape like? What was the office like? Did you have your own office?
No, they throw you in a pit and basically there's no training, no support, no nothing. And it's just basically like, good luck.
It's like a call center type
Yeah.
of setup.
Hopefully you survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you quickly saw how, you know what I mean, where you could, I guess, utilize your relationship businesses and customer service, your relationship skills and your customer service skills in high-end fashion, urban fashion stores across the country into, hey, I'm going to deal with somebody's largest transaction of the house. We're going to go ahead and be more of a concierge to them and take care of our clients and market as well. What was the what was the time, the pivot, the moment that stuff shifted for you in those early days of your career that kind of catapulted you to the direction you went into now?
Yeah. So I think it is the journey that every entrepreneur has. It was actually the breaking point of when I wanted to quit. So, if you're listening to this, a lot of times you're closer than you think. And the pain that you're willing to take and tolerate is directly tied to how successful you're going to be. So the first year that I had in real estate, if you're listening to this and you're starting out in any business, I don't give a shit what the internet says or what social media says. Your first year, you are going to get your fucking ass kicked. You're probably going to lose money. You're probably going to lose sleep. You're going to have a shit ton of stress. It's just statistically, everything is, the odds are against you. You're trying to learn so much in the first year while trying to make a living. And so I'll tell you guys, my first year, I made $18,000 in real estate. Couldn't afford to pay my bills, right? This is coming from, I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing what I was doing prior, right?
Yeah. And having fun.
Yeah. And probably a little too much. But so, to be honest with you, I had not felt that level of failure, and I needed to, right? And it sucked, but I needed to. And I remember coming home and having a conversation with my girlfriend, and she was like, dude, as long as I've known you, you never quit at anything. And she's like, you're better than, and again, not to compare myself against somebody else, but she's like, you're better than everybody else in that office as far as your willingness to work, your willingness to serve the customer, your knowledge of sales and marketing. She's like, it's just going to take you time.
And I know this is, not to cut you off, but I know this is coming from not a space of, hey, I'm your boo-boo, let me pump you up. But I know how hard she works.
No, she's savage.
Yeah, so this is coming from an observational.
No, and it was like, yo, get your fucking sad face, like, stop being a fucking bitch.
Yep.
Like, I'm, the man that I know is not a bitch. You're a savage. Find the fucking savage, right?
I love that, man, because, and I know you're in the middle of something, but dude, my gym story, and everybody knows that I was at another gym and was supposed to buy it, got fired, did the walk of shame, came home with the sad face, and my savage wife, girlfriend at the time,
it was probably the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was like, dude, that's not the Brandon Hudson I know.
Yeah.
And then ultimately here we are, and the gym in my studio. So
yeah.
But
yeah,
anyway,
same.
That was your breaking point, right?
Yeah, same. And so, again, I think that, I say this a lot on stage, the dramas and the traumas that we go through are the classroom for us to teach other people how to go through it. I believe there's certain people in this world that are chosen ones, and more shit's going to get put on you. Look, if you choose, I don't know what the statistic is, but if you choose to be a business owner and you're a business owner that is successful, you're in the minority, right? So understand how hard that is, right? And that's what a lot of people miss. And I think a lot of things too, I think the big misconception and where people kind of fuck up and fall down is like, they think it's going to be easy. And the first sign of things being hard, they tap the fuck out because most human beings want to be comfortable. And I get that. But if you want to do anything of substance or anything great in your life, like, it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard. And I think that that was a great lesson for me, because the other thing is it doesn't stop. So like, once you reach one level of success and you're like, man, we made it, right? We got to this mountaintop. Well, now it's another one. Well, guess what? Your problems got 3 to 4 to 5 times harder. Just the proportionate money that you make is exponentially more. But the shit gets harder.
Yeah.
It gets way harder. So it's never like it's going to be easy. It's,
And the problems are there's way more stakes at
yeah. Like I'm fascinated with people who are successful, like, Elon Musk, some of the sound bites, whether you love him or hate him, he was talking about, one of the times at Tesla, they were up against it, company's about to be bankrupt. And he's like, dude, I fucking slept in the office. He's like, I worked fucking 100 hours a week. I did. And look, everybody has a different level of that. But I'm just saying, I mean, this is the richest guy in the world. He's always either the richest guy or fighting to be the richest guy in the world. Again, not all about money, but at the end of the day, if you want to do anything special or of substance in your life, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard.
Yep. So that leads me into that second year. You got humbled the first year. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it was, whatever. And then that second year, you pulled your bootstraps up. You know what I mean? You went to work. What was that? You went through these pains and things like that. What was that year like? How many? I mean, I know the long hours you slept in office, right?
Yeah. So 08, so 09 did really well. And then 2010, the guy who had brought me in real estate and my business partner, somebody that was like a big brother to me, committed suicide.
Yeah.
Right. And we were still kind of in the recession. And so my point is, just going back to the same thing, here we go. I see some light. I start to do really, really well. And then my business partner that I owned a bunch of shit with kills himself.
Yeah.
Right. And
you guys weren't just business partners. You were
no,
friends.
Dude, he was like my brother. And so again, here I am again, like, and so I will tell you another pivot right there. And thank God I learned this early, is instead of being instead of letting shit spin out of control, maybe going to a substance abuse, or doing stupid shit. I just was like, man, I cannot be the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I don't know. Obviously, I believe in a higher power. I know you do too. I didn't know what the lesson was at the time. Do you know what I mean? I know it now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't know it. But I just looked at it like, as hard as this is to swallow, there's a lesson in this. And I got one or two choices. The one choice is I can take all the things that he taught me and gave me and honor his legacy and become way more successful, or I can go the opposite direction and let it destroy me and crawl into the cave of depression and, oh, why me and this and that. And I'm not saying I didn't grieve, because I did for a long time and it still fucks with me. But at the same time, I chose not to be a victim. And in any situation, I choose not to be a victim.
Yeah, I can see the level of how that affected you just the minute you started talking about the choice that you had to make, from going through victimhood or, honoring his legacy. Your whole facial expression changed, the whole demeanor changed. Obviously that was something deeper, and there was than surface level. And there was a lot. It wasn't just, the passing, but there was responsibilities that were left in your lap, and there was duties that left in your lap. And it was a battle. And then you went on to
let me say something on that.
Yeah.
Man, I will tell you, man, I was having this, it is so apparent to me. And like, this is millions of dollars, like millions. Like this is, if you're listening to this, like listen to what I'm about to say. Relationship capital is worth so much more than you trying to win on a deal or take or. So I was left with a lot of responsibilities. We owned a bunch of real estate. We had a bunch of debt. Shit was really bad. I could have filed bankruptcy. I could have said fuck you to the banks. I could have said fuck you
Some
to
of
people.
it wasn't even yours,
right?
To my understanding.
And so, so I didn't, right? And it was the most expensive thing I've ever done is kept my word, right? Cost me the most fucking money of anything. But so now those relationships, right? I can borrow money from any bank. I can get any bank president on the phone. There's relationships that I formed in that where they saw my character of he's not running from the problem and everybody else is, and he's not willing to go back on his word. And there's so many situations in life now where I've done that over and over again, where maybe I didn't get the better end of the deal because I stayed in integrity or I did what I said I was going to do. But in the long run, I fucking like 100x'd because that relationship paid me forever. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And man, people fuck this up all the time. They're so short-sighted and they don't play the long game and they try to get into a relationship and they don't understand. Me and you were talking about this the other day. Look, at the top of the mountain, there's only so much room. And look, we're already here, motherfucker. And so you trying to come up here and you want some fucking bullshit of stealing, lying, cheating, whatever. We're not going to let you in the club. Like, it's just not going to happen. And that's where people fuck up. They don't understand the relationship capital of what a long-term relationship can pay you and where you can grow and make money with people who you trust. And look, somebody might be whatever at a company today, right? And you fuck them and they become the CEO, or they become a CEO of somebody you got to do business with.
They don't forget that
or
shit.
They become the gatekeeper of somebody. And here's the thing, you don't even think about it, or it's off your radar. And then it's happened so many times in my life.
Yep.
Somebody burnt the bridge with me and then they got to come back and try to cross it. And I don't give them a fucking pass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anytime, not once, but on the flip side, right? And you've experienced that. Every major brand on real estate, I can get the CEO on the phone. Just about every major company in the United States that is related to shit that I do, I have a relationship with the person who owns it. I can get them on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
They'd show up for a webinar. They'd show up to speak for me. Anything, because it's reciprocal. We do shit without asking for anything in return. That's relationship capital.
I want to unpack that real quick because I want our listeners and viewers to fucking hear what you just said. This was in 2010, 2011. This was in the 2008 crisis.
Yeah.
Where everybody could easily and had, I don't want to say had the right, but had the option, and it was a viable option to say, hey, this is too much for me. I'm tapping out. I'm filing bankruptcy. I'm not paying you. I can't pay you.
Yeah.
The burden's too much. And what you chose to do is you chose to sit here and honor those commitments, pay your dues, pay people off, keep your integrity, keep your word, not even knowing what was on the other side of that, just knowing what you had to go home and sleep and face at nighttime, and knowing that the next day when you wake up tomorrow, you know what the community, you know what your peers, you know what the people around you would say about you, regardless if you tapped out or not, which so many people do. And you're so right. So many people lose the importance and lose they're nearsighted on the fact of, dude, if I just help so many people and keep my word and do the right thing, it will pay off in the end, because I will have to cross some path, some road, somewhere, shape or way, some way, shape or form. I will have to see somebody again that.
Well, you think you won't, but you will.
100%.
And another thing on keeping your word, which is frustrates me sometimes, is the thing. Like, somebody thinks, well, I said I call you at 5, and then I did. Like, it starts there.
The little shit.
If you don't keep your word over certain things, how you do one thing is how you do everything. It shows up in other areas of your life, and your word and your integrity is everything. And if you discount it, fuck, dude, you might get far enough for a certain period of time, but it won't last.
Yeah.
It's short-term
Absolutely.
money.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a reel that's going to pop up. You're going to hear that again, because that shit is a golden nugget.
Like I'll tell you so many times, bro, like somebody will reach out to me, right? And they'll, hey man, I want to coach with you, blah, 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 blah. And then not honor their word, or I want to invest with you. And I'm not petty. I don't go out of my way. Mm-hmm. But then I've seen this happen. They pop up and they want to get in a mastermind that I run, or something else. And I'm like, nope, they're not one of us. They didn't keep their word. And look, here's the thing. It's not even about the money. Like, just say, hey man, I don't have the money, or this is not convenient, or this, or whatever. Just, you don't
need to flex.
Then I'll respect you.
Yep.
But don't give somebody your word and then backtrack them. That's not how you do shit. It's not how you do business.
And I've witnessed you have and see that and experience that on many different levels, and that is a core value of yours. It's like, dude, keep your fucking word. And you're not alone. Like you said, the people sitting at the top of the mountain all feel that way.
And here's the thing. The people that have kept their word with me have made millions of dollars with me.
Funny how that works, right?
So it's like the people that you burnt your bridge, let's say it was over a $20,000 coaching deal.
Yeah.
Right? Not a lot of money. Right? but you burnt the bridge over $20,000 coaching deal that potentially you could end up being my business partner. I got multiple coaching clients of mine who'd been my business partner. We made millions of dollars together, made millions of dollars, built companies worth 8 figures, right? Bought fucking shit together, sat courtside at games together. And here's the thing, I won't give you a second chance.
Yeah.
Ever.
I know that's how you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the gym space too. A lot of guys and gals ask me, why do I, push my coaches to build their own brands? They're like, they'll leave you one day. Well, just because they leave you doesn't necessarily mean it has to be on bad terms.
No, 100%.
It doesn't mean we can't collab in the future. We can't do anything else. It's just everybody has that stigma of, it's us versus them, and it never works out.
100%.
Moving forward, I want to talk about this, and I want to touch on it because this is one of the most impressive and horrible things you had to go through. But there was a time where you had found yourself knocking on death's door.
Yeah,
and you were in the trenches of business. You were, I don't know all the details, but shit was flying around you left and right. Can you talk about that a little bit and what happened there? And you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I had multiple autoimmune disorders, which I'm around it, but I still have shit that I still have to live a certain way as far as eating, working out, that kind of thing. I don't drink alcohol. You know what I mean? I prioritize sleep. Like the thing is, people will see my social media and be like, man, you're a grinder, you're this, you're that. And yeah, that is definitely true. But I also set my life up years ago to be able to live the life I want to live now. Right. But yeah, dude, it was fucking wild, man. I mean, I woke up, was in the best physical shape of my life. And after a workout one night and I woke up in the morning, I couldn't walk. And I got to the hospital and they said, you're about 16 to 18 minutes between, you would have been in complete liver and kidney failure. You probably would have died. Like you literally probably would have died. And they didn't know at the time, like when I was in the hospital, they were like, I don't know. Like, we don't know if you're ever going to walk again. We don't know. Like, we don't know. And so it was fucking scary. It was wild. And again, so the cool thing about that, there's nothing cool about it. But going back to the thing I dealt with Marshall is I had adopted that mentality of not being a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And so, as crazy as this sounds, the amount of clarity and focus I got out of that situation, dude, it made me a fucking monster.
The Marshall situation or the
the health situation.
The health situation, yeah.
Because I had never, as human beings, I don't think we understand or grasp time very well. Meaning how much time you have, how much time I have.
I'd agree to that.
Right. So there's a clock running right now that you and I can't see. Right. And we don't know. Number might get called tomorrow, might get called tonight. It might be, we might live to 100. Do you know what I mean? And so I never understood time through that lens until I dealt with that. And so I remember I was sitting in the hospital, and, number one, we didn't know if I was going to walk again. We didn't know if I was going to, it was a lot of shit. And, it's a humbling experience when you're facing your own mortality. And I just remember being in the hospital and I just said, I know I can get through this, number one, but when I do, I'm going to fucking leave it on the field every day, right? I'm not going to hang out with motherfuckers I don't want to hang out with. I'm not going to do shit in my life I don't want to do. I'm going to live how I want. I'm going to enjoy my life on my terms. And I am not going to waste time anymore. And up until that point in my life, I didn't look at it through that lens. And again, that's why I'm not going to give you a second chance. I don't believe that I have time to, right? I believe my time is spent in walking in my purpose and doing and having relationships. I want to have a relationship with somebody like you versus some fuck motherfucker that's on some bullshit. And so when you hear you're only as strong as your mindset, that's real. Because they were like, you ain't getting out of here anytime soon. And I was like, well, what do I got to do to get out of here? And they're like, you got to walk from the back. Now, I couldn't physically walk.
Right.
I had lost motor function below my legs.
Sakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Couldn't physically walk. And then I was pissing black. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
What was that?
I was in rhabdomyolysis,
Holy shit.
which was, but it was caused by underlying autoimmune conditions that we didn't know at the time, right? And completely separate, not to go down a rabbit hole, but I will just tell you guys from dealing with this, our medical system, and nothing against people that are trying to do the best they can in our medical system. Our medical system is fucked up. If you're going through any major thing, do your own research, be your own advocate, because I cured and healed myself, right? I had to research it and figure it out myself. And to this day, look, we're shooting this in Brandon Gym after I just got done working out for an hour. I was told that I could never physically work out again because of my condition. With the side effect that I could die from one workout.
And if anybody goes back to on your social media and looks back 4 years, 5 years, I mean, you've done a complete transformation. And then that just didn't go with your, the appearance, but I mean, the way that you eat. I mean, you had a freaking meal today that, was prepared, ready to go on time. It's remarkable. I wanted to, and by the way,
let me go back to that really quick.
Yeah.
So again, because this is so important. So I'm sitting in the hospital and I'm dealing with all that. And again, that's a very easy place for you to be victimhood. And look, I was like, the only way that I beat this shit that they're telling me is if I beat it mentally. If I beat it mentally, then I can beat it physically.
Damn right you can.
Do you know what I mean?
Will yourself to heal.
And so I was sitting there. And I mean, like, if you're listening to this and you're sitting in the worst situation you've ever been in, I've been there more than one time, right? Like more than once. And look, don't get me wrong. Was I emotional? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Was I scared that I was going to die? Absolutely. But the other side of that was there's so many people that depended on me, my family, all that shit. And I was just like, man, I can't, like, for the people around you, if you're any type of level of success or you want to be successful, the people around you look at you for inspiration, look at you for leadership. And I was like, man, my family can't see me give up. Right. And the other thing, I was super, super close to my grandparents and I was like, dude, I damn sure ain't going to die before my grandparents. Right.
Yeah, right.
Cause it would devastate them. So, mentally, like, I don't know to this day how I did it, but I walked the fuck up out of that hospital in a couple of days. Right. And they still to this day they were like, we don't understand. Like, we don't understand how you did this. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. You told me if I can walk, I'm out. I can walk. I'm out of this motherfucker. Cause again, our medical system, and look, don't get me wrong. They saved my life.
Sure.
Like there was a doctor, he unfortunately is not alive anymore. Was named by the name of Dr. Iggy. He saved my fucking life, right? He saved my life. And no question about it, he saved my life. And
the medical field is flawed, but it's also it's a necessary.
There's some good people.
Evil.
There's some good people in it. Yeah, absolutely.
But what I'm hearing you say is your absolute mindset and the preparation leading up to that moment of saying, I'm not going to fucking die before my grandparents. I'm going to walk out of this fucking hospital. You willed yourself to heal.
And here's the thing. I was like, if I'm going to die, I don't want to die in this motherfucker.
Fuck no.
So let me the fuck out.
So that's an incredible story, dude. And why I ask these questions, you know what I mean? Because, I know, and a lot of you know, but everybody knows how successful you've become and you're on your way too, because you're always climbing another mountain. And these stories, your friends, your family, people care and know you. They know about these stories, you know what I mean? But the lining of the things that you had to go through and you did, you went from making very good money, having a good life, living in fucking Miami, going across the country, to humbling yourself, making $18,000 in a field that, you know what I mean, you had massive uncertainty in. You willed your way through that. And you sat here and you said you weren't going to be a victim there. You said you were going to be a victor. You went through, got busy, started working, and then you go through the crisis of your business partner, your friend, with his passing. You decided that day you weren't going to be a victim. You willed your way through that. You made a choice that day to hold your values in place, your integrity in place, and then you get sick. And these are just the big things. There's millions and countless things that have been popping up and, you know, hitting you and
100%.
and striking you in the knees throughout the course. But these things are where most people on the quest to success, most people that want to be successful, they will use those moments to define them as why they can't. And you use those moments to define you as why you will. And you overcame the adversity, and all those moments prepared you to get into the next phase and the next season of your life and where that was going. And I want our people to hear like how important it is that when you do have these moments, these fucking impossible odds, human beings are resilient as fuck. We can get through some impossible things, some incredible things with our minds and with our determination and the lack of victimhood, right? So that pushes us into the now. Right. And one of the things that I really admire and I think is incredible about you, Brandon, is, and you know this, I've told you to your face, I don't give a fuck about your money. I don't give a fuck about the shit you do. I respect what you've accomplished, but the character, the human that you are, right? You know, I've told people when I was, you know, we did the podcast last time and you have this ability to spot talent, and you've said this on stage about me, and you said, hey, I'm going to give this guy, I want this guy to work for our organization. And I didn't know nothing about it, and here we are. And quickly I knew that your culture and that office was where I needed to be because it aligned with me and the things I was doing. I was already in leadership space. But then for a solid year, I was like, this can't be, you know, most people aren't like this, right?
Yeah.
Most people aren't who they say they are. There's always a hidden clause. There's always something behind. I looked for the chink in your armor, looked at the chink in Rich's armor, your partner. Yeah. I was waiting for, you know, the curtain to fall, and it never happened. And it just, in that year and a half, you got more buy-in from me and more buy-in from me. And the things you said, you know, applied and helped. And there were so many great things to come. But then someone who's been through the things that you've been through, right? You have this incredible ability to predict the future. You have this incredible ability to be very efficient, right? And you have this incredible ability to connect pieces and people with relationship building and things like that. There's a whole other side of you that I've seen that really is why I love you so much, man, is your heart. I've seen you do some incredible things, and I know you probably don't want me to talk about this, but you said everything was good to go. But I've seen you do some things, man, that no one has to fucking do when it comes to the people you care about.
Yeah.
You know, you.
Well, I think to that, I think again, a couple things. We don't go out and talk about it because I think, you know, you do it because you care, not because you want the publicity.
Absolutely.
And I think it goes back to, again, as crazy as this sounds, having a near-death experience was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it goes back to the give the people the flowers while they're alive. The people that you really care about, and that are special in your life, you know what I mean? Like where I was faced with, where, you know, when Marshall committed suicide when I was young, then I almost died shortly after that. I just looked at the lens of time very differently. So it's like, hey, if I really care about this person, and by the way, if you're listening to this, people that work for you, that give a shit about your organization, that give a shit about you, that go above and beyond, that is very rare. So when you find those motherfuckers, you keep them and you take care of them and actually care about them. That's where it stems from of, you know, what if this person means a lot to me in my organization, but they never got to experience really how much that I did care about them.
Mm-hmm.
It would devastate me if something happened to them and they didn't know. So my thing is, it's always like, oh, we got to wait for a special occasion, or we got to wait for this, we got to wait for that. Like if somebody that is rocking with you because and they're loyal, it's so rare. You should reward them, because there's a handful of people in your life you're going to experience like that, right? It's going to be very few and far between. And so for me, that's kind of where it stems from, is because it's so weird, because this duality of like, if I'm competing with you, I want to burn your fucking village down. Yeah. And like, if I'm on the other end of the deal, I want the best end of the deal. But then it's from the standpoint of, it's for the people I care about in my family and the people that I'm leading. But it's a timing thing, man. We none of us know. It's like, if you're listening to this, right? I think there's 168 hours in a week, 168 hours. But like, if I came to you tomorrow and I said, hey, you got 168 hours left, you would probably spend your week different. And then the other thing too, back to the hospital thing, is I know this is going to sound fucking weird, but I was thinking when I was in the hospital, I was like, at the time, I was financially secure and I was in a good spot. But I was like thinking one night, I'm like, man, what if tomorrow's my last day? I was like, I would trade everything just to have one more, right? And then I was thinking, like, if someone came in and said, I can give you this drink to give you an extra day, but I'm not going to tell you what day you get back, right? And then I go back to a day where I fucked around and wasted time and hung out with somebody I didn't want to do, or hang out with a fucking dipshit, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like and
I'm thinking of 3 of them right now.
Yeah, and so then I just started looking at it through that lens, and it's like, you don't know how much time you have. You don't know the people around you, how much time they have. So why not let them know that you care about them and take care of them, and then just leave it on the fucking field, man.
Yeah.
Like, leave it on the field every day, because, I mean, I can say to you wholeheartedly, I want to live a long life, but I'm at a point in my life where, like, a lot of the shit that I've wanted to do, I've accomplished it. I've taken care of the people around me I wanted to take care of. And I know I leave it on the field every day. And I mean, that's peace of mind money can't buy.
Yes, sir. I wish we had an hour, because I mean, this feels like this podcast flew by, and I only think that we scratched the surface, but we don't. So I'd be remiss if I didn't, ask a couple of quick questions. One of the questions I want to ask is, because if you chose, and I don't mean to be in your business and put it out there, but if you chose to not have to work, because you fucking still, every day, you're still the first one there, last one to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So guys and gals on our team, you hear me say that.
Weekends, holidays.
Yep. We met last Sunday. I mean, this is how you do it, right?
Yep.
You know your purpose, you know your space of genius, and you live it out. But if you wanted to, and I'm not saying you could afford to live the life that you do today, but if you wanted to, you could choose not to work as hard as you do now.
Oh, 100%. Right? I certainly could work a lot less.
So why? At this point, why, and what is it all for?
So it's a couple of things, right? I think, it's funny. Go back to the Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Like, if you take the richest people in the world, they didn't need to keep working a long time ago, right? Once I really believe this. I believe everybody has the opportunity to get the freedom, and financial freedom is overused, but freedom meaning once you get to basic needs met. Right? You can afford the house you want. You can afford the car you want. You can go on vacations. You got money in the bank. Like, you have that level of comfortability. That's where, if you're lucky enough to get there, that's where most people will stop. Right? But there's not, and listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Sure. Because everybody's different. But what I'm saying is that for me, it was about money to a point, which was basic needs. Beyond that, it is, I believe my purpose is, obviously, I believe I've been given a gift to speak on stage, right? And so that's part of it. And part of speaking on stage is being in the trenches every day and having the real shit to share with people. And I also believe that part of my purpose is to develop as many human beings as I can to be successful. And I really like building shit. It's fun. It's exciting to me. And to be quite honest with you, the more challenging it is, the better. I don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah.
Right. And again, this is just the way that I'm wired. Like, I'll go on vacation and I'm out for 2 or 3 days, man. And I need to get punched in the face again. Like, I need to get back in the ring.
Well, you're very bad to work.
And again, that might not sound cool to you, but here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't know or understand. You're not walking in your purpose, so you don't have that same level of love and commitment. And it could be anything. You could want to do a dog rescue. You could want to be a fighter. Whatever it is, a lot of people are floundering because they're not walking in their purpose. I know what mine is. Do you know what I mean? And the money becomes a byproduct of it and how we keep score. But, I get to do a lot of really cool shit. You know what I mean? And I get to do a lot of really cool shit every day. I get to meet and be in business and relationships with a lot of really cool people. And, you know, if you're a builder, you never want to stop building. And there's always another mountain to climb. So that's kind of, and again, I think the competitive side in me, is also all the people over the years that told me I was crazy or you can't do this. And again, if you're listening to this, I think this is cool. This is something you should understand. If you want to be really successful and you're passionate about something, there's gonna be a long time where you're gonna be misunderstood. You're gonna be lonely. You're gonna be alienated. And then those motherfuckers gonna ask you for a job.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And if you want to do anything of any significance, like you're just going to be misunderstood, man.
Yeah.
And people are going to think you're crazy. They're going to say, if you're repeatedly being told your idea sucks, you're probably onto something.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And you should never let someone else's limitation of where they can't grow to affect your ability, because that's just their own inadequacies, you know, projecting on you. And so I think part of it too is also the challenge of proving people wrong.
Damn right.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just, to me, it is coming from a poor family that didn't have anything, breaking the generational wealth curse of our family, and then just not having a ceiling. And it's like, well, what can we do next? How many more lives can we impact? How many more people can we make wealthy? How much more cool shit can we do? And that's the shit that is, that's what's exciting to me. That's what gets me up out of bed every day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a great answer, man. Wrapping up, you know, we would be foolish if we didn't put an elevator pitch or a shameless plug or some sort of, you know, we're on EXP now. Been with EXP for over half a year now. It's been a great venture. Maybe not even that long.
September.
And you're not even selling real estate. Like a lot of people have the misconception that you're selling real estate. Like you're way beyond that and been beyond that for quite some time.
And by the way, if you are, there's nothing wrong with that. That's where I started.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about 2 decades in the game. You know, we're talking about an innovator here, right? Yeah. And where I'm getting at is now, you know, you're raising money, you're investing money, you're speaking on stages, you're coaching the best of the best. I witnessed this. People don't know and realize it around here, but I've watched and I see the rooms that you speak in, the people you're next to, the people you're coaching. You know, these are other moguls and other people, real big people that are around you are getting knowledge and stuff like that you provide. But you're raising capital, you know what I mean, constantly, deploying capital constantly. We've got a lot of silos over there. You know, where can they find you? What can they, you know, anybody listen to this that wants to potentially is interested or something like that, where would it?
So Wake Up to Wealth podcast, a lot of good stuff there. B mentioned, we've hit #1 a few times, Leapfrog and Dave Ramsey, and I don't have a $10 million budget a year. We've done it on a shoestring budget. Mailbox Money B on Instagram, Brandon Brittingham on Facebook. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, man, listen, dude, and I'm not saying this for any other reason because you know how I am. I'll tell you fucking straight up, dude. I just love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
I think that God puts people in our lives for a reason, and I think that we've crossed paths.
We got No Diddy, by the way.
No Diddy, yeah. Pause, right? But I think that God, you know, or God or whoever you pray to, whatever you're into, you know, that's who I connect with. Puts people in our lives. And, you know, you've left a big impact on my life, and it's been more of the example and the ability to hold fast on that example that you set.
Hey, you just made me think of something. The other thing too, when
this guy can't even take his flowers, you know, he's so good.
No, because you got me in the mode of thinking.
I love it though. It's so impressive.
When you what you just said is the other thing. The why is I say to myself a lot, my internal conversation. Which, by the way, the conversation you have with yourself is the most important one.
Yes, sir.
Every day. But one of the things that I say to myself a lot, and I didn't always know or understand this. You know what I mean? I came to it. But I've been given a lot of these gifts to be the example, right? So that's important to me just based on like what you said.
Sure.
When you ask why, well, do I need to be in the office at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning? I don't. But if someone else shows up at that time and sees me there, then they're going to say, man, that motherfucker got a Lambo, fucking Bentley, fucking Range. in the fucking warehouse and he's here 8:00. It's not material. I'm just saying,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And then they see it and then they see, man, he goes and crushes the stages, but he has a coach to teach him how to back. All these things, man, Brandon's so fucking busy. He still shows up, goes to the gym. He still eats clean. He's still drinking water. He's not going out. He's not drinking. By me being the example, then that also impacts everybody else. And that's why I can't stop.
100%. And that's the thing, man, that I've learned so much, rocking with you. And, you've done a lot for me and that's great and greatly appreciated. And I hope I reciprocate that. But more importantly, man, it's the example that you've set. It's the efficiency that you are and your word, man. It's cool to see from our hometown and peers and traveling amongst different circles, that level of integrity and that level of example. And, I'm just excited for what you got to come and excited for what you always unpack. And we've got announcements coming up this week and next month. And there's always something new.
Sure, we're about to go. It's a wild ride we're getting ready to be on.
It really is, man.
But it's exciting ride.
Damn right it is. Well, thank you for being on here, brother. You guys know the links. Check him out. Mailbox Money be on Instagram. Wake Up to Wealth. Like and subscribe. Listen to it. He's got a book out on Amazon Prime, on Amazon. You know what I mean? That you can get. There's so many things this guy's done. Check him out on social media, man. He's a fire you want to be next to. But that'll do it with this episode of Champ Talk with Brandon Hudson, guys. Again, if you've gotten value out of this, please comment, like, subscribe, leave a review, send it to your friends, send it to your granny, give it to somebody. We'd love to hear your feedback and thank you guys for tuning in. What are you doing today to become a champion?
Thanks, brother.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Wake Up to Wealth. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get updates as new episodes become available. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a review on Apple Podcast and tell your friends about the show. It is how new people find us. Until next time,